In this video, we are going to discuss the indirect function. The indirect function is used to return a valid reference from a given text string. What this means is, it takes in one input. That input is a string. For example, D4 is a text or day here is a text. Such text goes as input in the indirect function. It considers this text as an address and points us to that address. You can also consider this as hyperlinking that particular value. Let us look at an example to understand it more clearly. In this L7 cell, I have a text which is D4. D4 text can also be considered as the address to this particular cell which contains the value vegetables. In front of this cell, if I want to get the contents of the D4 cell, how do I do it? One way is I simply write is equal to D4, which gives me vegetables. But if I update D4 to E4, this cell is not dynamically updated. To make this cell dynamically updatable, we will use the indirect function. So what we'll do is we'll write indirect and we will select this cell which contains the name of the cell. Now, whenever I change the value in this cell, say F4, it will automatically update because this indirect function will now point to F4 instead of E4. So basically, whatever text we have in this cell, that text is converted to an address, and whatever we have in that address is shown here. With an indirect function, we can also pass the assigned name, that is the named range or cell names that we have given. So for example, I have created few names such as these. So the day name is given to this particular cell. Baby name is given to this range of cell. Similarly, milk, vegetables, meat, and all of these columns have their respective names. Now these assigned names or the names that I have given can also be used to reference in the indirect function. So if I use here is equal to indirect and within brackets I give this name day. This will point to the cell which has the name day. So this cell which is Monday, it has the name day. So the indirect function returns us the name Monday. So you can see here day was just a text, but indirect function converted this text into the address of that particular cell from which we want to return the contents. We can do the same thing with named ranges. You can see here I have in text format the range D5 to D21. So if I want to sum all the contents of D5 to D21, I can simply use the indirect function. We will first write sum, then indirect, and then we will specify this D5 to D21. And this gives us the sum of all the values from D5 to D21. Similarly, instead of giving the range from as D5 to D21, we can use the assigned name, that is vegetables, for this entire range. So we can also write is equal to sum indirect and this name. The real benefit of using indirect function here is that we get a dynamic sheet. Whenever we update the value in this field, say if we put milk, it will automatically give us the sum of values in the range of cells which are titled milk. If I do DVDs, it will automatically update and give us the sum of all the DVD sales in our table. So this is how we use indirect function. Indirect function will help us make our sheet dynamic. Whichever location we want to point to, we can have that name here. Whenever we update that location, the output will be automatically updated.